All right, so this one's going to be a little bit different. I didn't even take time for hair and makeup. That team's got the day off. So I saw a reel on Facebook about real estate. I see a lot of them about real estate because I'm a realtor and I'm in real estate. And it was red flags. You know, if your realtor doesn't do these things, these are red flags. And one of them was present for the inspection. And there was a lot of comments and a lot of buyers who said, my realtor wasn't there, and then this, that, and the other. And most of them were basically saying, I wish my realtor had been there on the buying side. On the selling side, you're probably not really that interested in the inspection. But on the buyer side, you should definitely be there representing your client. So I said, I'm there. I'm there for signing the paperwork. I prefer to do that in person, but we can do it electronically, after we've talked about it or whatever. I'm there for the inspection. I'm there for the closing. The only thing I'm not there for is the appraisal, because I'm not supposed to be there for the appraisal. There's a whole regulation about it. It's AIR. It's the Auditor's Independence Regulation or something like that. So I said I'm there. And then all these other realtors, excuse me, I shouldn't say, all these other agents, because I don't know if they're realtors. Maybe they're not in the National Association of Realtors. But anyway, all these other agents were saying, I'm not there. I don't go there. We shouldn't be there. We're just in the way. My favorite one commented directly to me and said, we as realtors need to stay in our lane. Stay in our lane. Stay. You don't know me. You don't know my lane. Listen, I've done more than list and sell houses and buy houses, okay? I've done residential. I've done investment properties. I've done flips. I've done teardowns. I've done land. I've done warehouses. And when you get involved in some of these things, you learn things. You're supposed to be there. You're supposed to be a subject matter expert. Maybe not in all fields, but you should be there. I've replaced the P traps because they were the accordion style. And I asked, and here's what matters. Here's a big important thing. You ask both sides. You say to the inspector, is a licensed contractor required, or can the homeowner do this? That's the big question. Can the homeowner do this themselves? And if they say yes, the homeowner can do this themselves, and that means you don't need a license. You don't need a licensed contractor. You don't need, don't tell them you're doing it. And honestly, a lot of times I do, because I do believe in that transparency. I believe in telling them the whole truth. So I'm going to tell them I can do it. I've put up handrails because now the FHA homes require that you have handrails if there's more than 3 steps. If you, it's not OSHA. We don't work here. If you fall in your own home down 3 steps on your front porch, you're probably fine. And if you are bruised, I don't think you're calling your homeowner's insurance and putting a claim in because you fell down 3 steps. And if you are, what does that have to do with your lender? It doesn't. Anyway, I've put in handrails myself and had them tested. And the inspector came back out and pulled on it, and he was like, oh, how will it work? I had to go buy masonry bits because I had to put them in brick. I've replaced P-traps because they were the accordion style, the old style. Those won't pass inspection anymore, so I replaced it myself. You don't need tools. You don't need. Anyway, my point is, yeah, we need to stay in our lane and be realtors, right? But that should mean more than I'm a pass-through. It's more than I've got a Rolodex or Google and let me find you somebody who can take care of that. No, we should know these things and we should be able to take care of some things. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. So I did reply. The person who posted the video deleted a lot of the comments that were under my comment about I am there. I don't blame them. And then, so this week, there was an announcement made that at least in my state, at least in South Carolina, the licensing board, the LLR, requires you to be there. Not suggests it, recommends it, requires you to be there. Stay in my lane. I know my lane. So you can choose to not be there if you can get the seller and their client to sign off saying that the inspector can be in the home without you being present. Why does it matter? Because you're letting them in the home under your license, under your number, under your access to that lockbox. So if they go in and God forbid something does go wrong, it's not on, it is on them, but first they're going to come after you because you're the one who gave them that access. You're supposed to be there. It's just like a showing with a client, with a buyer. You're not supposed to you're not supposed to give your buyer access to that house and just be like, talk to me afterwards. No, you're supposed to, let's go back. You're supposed to be present. They're accessing that home under your number, under your license, under your authority. You're supposed to be present. And why wouldn't you be? It's not any different with the inspector. They're there under your access, under your license. You're supposed to be there. Now, I'm there for the inspection if I'm representing the buyer. I try not to be there for representing the seller unless you want me to be there. If you say, please be there, I'll be there. If you say, so the concern there is that I might be trying to conceal something. I might be trying to steer the inspector away from a known issue, and that would be a problem. But on the buyer side, you want to find everything. So if I know that house was built in the 70s, I want to check the plumbing and make sure that the inspector does. I want to make sure he checks the AC and gets the tag and the age, and when was it last service. I want to be sure that he does his job. Now, he should be quite capable of doing his job. I'm not saying the inspectors aren't doing their jobs or can't do their jobs, but let's be sure. Just be present. Ask questions. If you're there during the inspection with your buyer and your buyer genuinely wants this house, like this is the house, I've got to have this house, you're going to want to ask questions like, how important is this repair request? Can it be done by the homeowner themselves? Because that's going to save both sides of this deal money. And if we can save money, we can get closer to closing. Every piece of negotiation delays closing. Every time, I'm shaking my phone all over the place. I'm so sorry. Every time we have to come back to the table and talk about assets, we're delaying that closing a little further. Let's try and eliminate as many obstacles as we can. Let's try and make this as smooth as we can for both sides. For both sides. So you're telling me stay in my lane. You don't even know my lane. You're telling me we're not supposed to be at inspections. Well, at least in the state of South Carolina, you were always supposed to be there, and now they're requiring it. Just because you interpreted it incorrectly doesn't mean it didn't apply. You're supposed to be there. Stay in my lane. Stay in my lane. You, as a realtor, should be more than, I put up the listing, I negotiated the contract, and we closed. That's not your job. You're an agent. You're supposed to be representing your client and their best interest. It's more than, I can call someone. You should have the answers. You're late. I will drive through every lane on a 3-lane highway. I don't care. I won't even use my turn signals because we're in South Carolina. We don't know what turn signals are. I will drive in every lane. Stay in your lane. That got me. All right. Anyway, so I just wanted to cover that. No hair and makeup today. No suit and tie. So sorry. Thank you.